Hi guys, welcome to the two-time Academy Award nominated The People's Duchess. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. You knew this was coming. Today we're back in our fashion bag and exploring the Duchess of Sussex's impeccable maternity style on the Royal Tour Morocco. The Royal Tour Morocco may have been a quick one, just lasting 3 days, but it was packed with meaningful engagements and extremely important fashion. Now, y'all know me. I love a good fashion haul and breakdown, honey. Meghan's royal style remained unchanged and unbeatable, even, and dare I say, especially in her maternity looks. She was absolutely radiant in Morocco. She was in her maternity bag and rocked a mix of glamorous maternity wear and bespoke pieces that really set her apart from the standard royal maternity garb. Back then, it was all massive muumuus and huge coats, and maybe it was a sign of the times, or maybe I'm just reading a tad bit too far into it, but I feel like women in general had this habit of wearing the biggest, baggiest clothes, not only because they probably felt a bit big and uncomfortable, but also because being confident in pregnancy was somewhat frowned upon in society up until the modern day. And now we have queens like Beyonce, Rihanna, Britney, who have all proudly shown off their baby bumps on magazines, in their street style performances. It's been lovely to watch. I credit Demi in particular because Demi Moore was really a trailblazer in that Vanity Fair photo shoot where she wore nothing but her birthday suit, pregnant, with rumor, and was like, here I am. After that, we saw other really strong, powerful women coming out and showing off their pregnant bodies and bellies in the nude and really just showcasing to the world that there was nothing to hide and a pregnant body was just as beautiful. Meghan obviously isn't going to be posing nude anytime soon, but she definitely is a woman of this generation and embodies the concept and stayed true to herself. And throughout her pregnancy with baby Archie, she maintained that sense of self, that she wasn't hiding her bump in any way. She was out there wearing high slit skirts and bespoke pieces that were very high fashion that she pretty much just converted into maternity wear. So this is the Royal Tour of Morocco, and Meghan was heavily pregnant. She was about 7 months pregnant here, and I'm really excited to get into some of her best maternity looks on this tour. The Sussexes kicked things off with an uber stylish arrival on Saturday, February 25th, 2019 in Casablanca, where Harry looked so dapper in a light suit, and Meghan stepped off the plane wearing this absolutely striking red Valentino dress with embroidered detail. The Duchess paired the dress with a Valentino Garavani V-ring color block leather shoulder bag, Gianvito Rossi 105 nude pumps, Gianvito Rossi Dahlia pink Napa leather long gloves, and her signature dainty Natalie Marie diamond sun studs. I cannot tell you how in love with this look I am. I think I audibly gasped when I saw her step onto that runway. It was so chic. I love that it's bespoke. I absolutely love that Meghan worked with the designer to customize the dress, and the results were so immaculate. This is an amalgamation of what I believe to be these two spring 2013 couture Valentino looks. She took the caped part of the white gown, stripped it down to just that panel with the heavy embroidery, and then had it dyed this gorgeous electric red color. This is why Anna Wintour and Edward Enninful trusted her with the September Vogue issue. They absolutely understand that as a fashion designer, as an it girl, as an all-around fashion goddess, Meghan was the perfect person to put that issue forward. On February 24th, the Sussexes flew into Asni in the High Mountain Atlas region to get insight into the Education for All organization and the organization's efforts to keep young girls in school. They also took part in a spirited game of football, or soccer, as my fellow North Americans would say. For this engagement, Meghan paired black skinny jeans from Rag & Bone with an oversized blazer from Alice and Olivia, a black cashmere Misha Nonu sweater, her favorite black birdie slippers, Elisteva Leonard York sunnies, and an Aritzia Wilfred frayed gray triangle scarf. She also got a traditional henna tattoo for pregnant women to commemorate her 7-month pregnancy by a 17-year-old schoolgirl, Samira. And this day had one of my favorite exchanges between the Sussexes. During a sit down with educators at the school, a teacher congratulates Meghan on her pregnancy, and while Meghan offers a very demure thank you, Harry turns to her and very seriously says, "Wait, you're pregnant?" And Meghan's like, "Surprise," without missing a beat. And everyone laughed, and it was just a super cute moment that really shows you how funny these two are. I can only imagine between Meghan's Hollywood humor and Harry's lifetime of being a jokester, that house is probably so full of laughter. They're two really funny people. Every other picture you see of Harry, the person he's talking to is cracking up. So I feel like he is genuinely like a funny guy. So the Duchess had a quick outfit change before they headed to their final engagement in town, opting for a flowy, comfortable white tunic blouse by Aritzia and black Manolo Blahnik polka dot slingbacks. I love this look too. Meghan had it all going on. And you may think these slingbacks look a little familiar, but no, they're not the exact same pumps she wore to Kevin Costner's 1805 fundraiser. They're actually a different style, but very good eye, and yeah, quite similar. She owns all her clothes, and despite the Carolina Herrera coat going absolutely viral that night, it was also a repeat from the vow renewals at Ellen and Portia's months before that. And that's important because a lot of people don't realize that most clothes, accessories, handbags, and even shoes are rented. In Hollywood, we utilize rental culture like everyone else utilizes Uber. We borrow that showstopper dress for a night and then it's back to the archives in the morning. And that's why you never see them in the same thing twice. Cinderella, honey. And this is why I have such a profound respect for the Duchess of Sussex and her wardrobe. It's very clear that she owns all of her pieces. It's quite clear that she is her own stylist. And there's really something to be said about a woman who owns her own pieces, and those pieces are even better than what the royals are used to. That's very impressive to me. Anywho, the next day, the Sussexes returned from the Atlas Mountains to Rabat, where they attended an official reception at the British ambassador to Morocco's residence that evening. Meghan wore a bespoke, one-of-a-kind, cream-colored, silky, satiny Dior caftan with jeweled detailing and paired it with gold Dior point toe pumps and Dior's DB gold satin clutch and her much-loved Burke's Snowstorm diamond earrings. Ugh, I love this look. I love this look. It is so luxurious. It is one of my all-time favorite maternity looks for her. This Dior caftan and clutch combo, oh, this was just elite. The snowflake earrings are another touch of elegance. These are pre-royal and they meld so well with post-royal style. There's literally nothing in Meghan's closet that would be out of place with a royal event. In fact, I'm really glad that she was able to afford herself such nice things like these earrings and her two-tone Cartier tank watch. Because if you've read Spare, you will recall that once Charles learned that Meghan would be joining the family, he very blasé asked if she would be maintaining her work on Suits. In my opinion, this is the next level of where they were trying to get him to reject bringing Meghan into that family. After William failed to get Harry to leave Meghan alone and not marry her, they took it up with Charles. This was Charles attempting to tell Harry that if you bring this woman into our family, if you attempt to integrate this woman into our family, this is how difficult your lives will be in this family. I will offer you no assistance at all. So all of the people that say, oh, she was welcomed with open arms, yada, yada, how is this open arms? No other royal woman was ever told to continue working her job or even expected that she would continue working after marrying into the family. insidious work, and I'm glad she was a boss beforehand. February 25th rolls around, and Harry and Meghan then visited the Moroccan Royal Federation of Equestrian Sports to learn about the equine therapy program for special needs children. The Duchess of Sussex went casual for this engagement in a striped sweater by Equipment, pre-royal J. Crew utility jacket, her rag and bones skinny black maternity jeans, black Stuart Weitzman boots, a Karen Walker runaway ring, and Exan tresses gold bar earrings. Now, I want to talk briefly about this Karen Walker ring. Towards the end of the Australian tour, the Cambridges, engulfed and completely ravaged by jealousy and self-loathing, unleashed their rabid dog, Camilla Tominey, to bring Meghan's popularity and, in fact, Meghan herself down several notches with that false story that Meghan made Kate cry. So by this time, heavily pregnant as she was, it was really brutal in the press for her. Everything was absolutely disgusting in the press for her. And I can imagine she did want to run away. It's really clever that she tucked that sentiment into a dainty piece of jewelry like this. But now that I'm looking back at it, I can't help but to think, my God, poor Meghan. And it's not like the interpretation is open. I mean, there's literally a kid running away with his bag packed and everything. Ugh. I make humor in light of these things because otherwise you'd be really sad thinking about it and just putting yourself in that position and how you would feel. And you guys are very lucky, by the way. Let me remind you how lucky you are. You're very, very lucky that you did not have Duchess Rihanna, because she would have opened up a can of West Indies whoop ass on probably everyone in that palace when she got back. Lying on her like that. Y'all heard bitch better have my money, right? Ugh. You're actually very fortunate that Harry didn't marry somebody that was truly straight out of Compton or a fiery island gal, because she'd have set everybody in there straight. You'd have had one time to lie on a girl like Riri. You guys have never been popped in the mouth for lying. You've never been confronted head on for lying, and it shows. Anyways, I love that Meghan trusts herself. She trusts her fashion sense, and you can really get the feel for this as she pretty much wears all the regular wardrobe pieces that she had pre-royal. It's all just a very fluid continuation and maturation of her pre-royal style. We've seen this J. Crew utility jacket on her before. She is practical and stylish, and this just looks like a really cozy outing. They later visited the Via des Ambassadeurs Hotel in Rabat and sampled a plate of traditional Moroccan noms. The food is prepared and served by children from underprivileged backgrounds and uses recipes from chef Moha Fedal, which is the host of Morocco's version of MasterChef. This is a very meaningful program for underprivileged kids to gain elite culinary skills. They bring in the Gordon Ramsay of Morocco, and it's just, yeah, that brought a tear to my eye. They sampled this one dish called pastilla, which is a sweet and savory meat pie that's typically cooked with pigeon. I'm not knocking the food at all because I'm vegan. Anything meat filled or meat related kind of just sends like a chill down my spine. I have been pecked at by a pigeon and I still have nightmares about it. Well, I guess then I should be happy that they cooked that thing, huh? Oh my God, that's horrible. Don't say that. February 25th was a jam-packed day, and after the cooking demonstration and tasting, the Sussexes then visited the Andalusian Gardens, where Meghan changed into a black pleated Lloyd Ford dress with white Babaton blazer and her black polka dot Manolos. While doing this video, I considered how this is a common stop on every royal tour. They're shopping, they're having a good time in the local market. You see this in every royal tour. The blueprint for these tours is showy arrival, perform some kind of song and dance with the locals, visit the charities, visit the royal palace or the state house, sample the local cuisine, shop at the local markets, then head home. I analyzed every royal tour I could get my hands on. This is the formula that the palaces know and have stuck to since they started these royal tours till today. So as I was reviewing this tour, it struck me that Charles and Camilla on the recent tour to Kenya knew that they were going to the local Kenyan market. Shopping at a local market has always been the protocol. Why didn't they bring the money to pay the merchants? It's really insidious when you think about it. Why didn't they bring an overabundance of money to pay the merchants? It's not like they would have been bringing thousands of pounds or anything. This is Kenya. I can only conclude that it was not a lack of preparedness, but that they did not feel it necessary to pay the Kenyan merchants for their goods. Just like everything else they've stolen from Africa, they felt that they had every right to barge in there and simply take what they wanted from those merchants, waving their hand and promising payment at a later time. I watched the video, and instead of simply not taking the goods without payment, Camilla instead insisted that she take all the items that she picked out and that somehow payment would be sent to the merchants at a later date and time. Now, if you know anything about the royals, you know that payment will never, ever be sent. And those merchants put their hard work, sweat, and tears into handcrafting those goods. It is truly the most unroyal, dishonest, low-class thing I have ever witnessed these people do. Nobody has ever come to Buckingham Palace short of cash and demanded souvenir items be given to them on credit. She was walking around that market like Michael Jackson at the Regis Gallery in Vegas, pointing to things that she wanted and then having her goons, aides, stuff them into duffel bags. The optics are one thing, but y'all are supposedly diplomats. The diplomatic thing to do would have been to return the items and send for them once payment was arranged, or arrange the payment right then and there. Even if they sent the money later, that money would never make it to those vendors, and they know that. They know that the corruption between them sending the money and the vendors actually receiving it is so great that the vendors would never see a penny of that money. The only right and proper thing to do would have been to arrange for someone to bring money to that market to pay those vendors before they left. Period. Ugh. Anyway, day 3 saw the Duke and Duchess of Sussex rocking up to the Moroccan royal family palace to pay an official visit to King Mohammed VI of Morocco, where Prince Harry donned a light dinner suit and dark blue suede shoes to match his wife's gorgeous Carolina Herrera silk chiffon floral print gown. I adore this dress. It is whimsical, it's fun. It reminds me somewhat of the animal print de la Renta she wore with the green boots to that visit to Bristol. And not because they're similar or anything, but just because the print of this dress is so fun, so flowy, and just really gorgeous. Meghan's pregnancy glow was on a million during this trip, and I simply adore the missed detail of Harry matching his shoes to her dress for this event. She wore those Gianbenito Rossi pumps. She wore her satin Dior clutch. She brought her wedding Cartier earrings. Each piece went together so well. It made me think back to her Reitman's days when she was talking about how all the pieces were designed to go together so that you can mix and match easily and you didn't have to look for something else to wear with this thing because it doesn't quite go with that thing in the collection. This is stealth dressing at its best. I also love how besotted the crown prince of Morocco is with Meghan. This picture says it all. Harry's like, hello? Did you hear what I just said? I'm over here, mate. The Sussexes held audience with the king and Moroccan royal family, learning of everything the country was dealing with and how the two Commonwealth nations could strengthen their ties. So these royal tours are really just for show, to be honest. And to remind the Commonwealth countries that they should stay because the royals are so popular. And should they come to your neighborhood, the benefit would be immeasurable. There's no real substance. There's no assistance of any kind. The royals don't even pay for the trips. All they do is show up with pictures of themselves as if their presence alone is the greatest gift the Commonwealth could possibly ask for. And this was never more evident than with Edward and Sophie's trip to the Bahamas. And on their visit to St. Lucia, they got really cool gifts from St. Lucia leader Philip J. Pierre that included a topographical map of St. Lucia and other baubles for the then Countess of Wessex, only for the Wessexes to turn around and gift St. Lucia a signed picture of themselves, as if they were celebrities and the picture was worth a damn. The picture says 1,000 words, and Sophie's face says even more. She's like, oof, yikes. And Edward can't even look at the man. And this again harkens back to soft power. For all their hard power and political control, the royals are so tone deaf and narcissistic that they wield no real diplomacy, which also includes being in touch with reality and real people, which they think that they're above. Diplomacy is what keeps people in your presence when they aren't being forced or coerced into it. Diplomacy, once again, is better than hard power, because with hard power, it is obvious that if you didn't have that power and control, nobody would voluntarily be by your side. For all their control, they completely lack the nuance and approach needed to actually sway opinions, voluntarily sway those opinions, and make things work for them. I still hold out hope that one day Africa will snap out of the Stockholm syndrome they're still so deeply engulfed in and reject their former colonial masters in favor of self-love and self-respect. I hope. Lately, more and more, it's dawning on people that once you take away the stolen jewels and the hordes of money in duffel bags from shady Saudi Arabian oil tycoons, they aren't people anyone would enjoy the company of. They're actually pretty insufferable. So let's use the data to finally clear this up. Prior to Meghan's arrival in that family, the tabloid rags used to report exactly how they felt about the royals, which was barely concealed contempt. They did not like the royals. They had to report on them because that was their livelihood. They did not find them impressive. They thought of them kind of cruel and cold. There had been articles like this about Kate's behavior and her character. Meghan is not the only person that she has iced out and been cold or brutal to. Let's just clear this up once and for all. The data shows that if Meghan were not there, the tabloid magazines would still be reporting honestly about how they felt about the royals. Meghan's presence has united all of the white supremacists in journalism in Britain and all over, really. But prior to her entering that family, they routinely used to tell the royals where to stick it. Now, y'all know I am a show me the Carfax kind of girly. So I want to break this down for you a little bit further so that you can understand what that really actually means. So there's two types of data. There's quantitative data, which are your numbers, and then there's qualitative data. This is going to be your comment section, your feedback, your surveys, your opinion polls. All of these articles are qualitative data indicating how people actually felt about the royals. So prior to having to take up arms in the name of defending white supremacy, British tabloids used to write article after article after article after article stating how they truly felt about the royal family. And I challenge anyone who is a royalist and listening right now, I challenge you to answer this question honestly. Two people, self-important, come into your store, you're a business owner, they say, I want this, 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 and this. Give it to me, I'll pay you back later. Just be honest with yourself. Is that acceptable to you? Is that something that you would find appropriate? Would you think that those people had any class or couth to walk into a shop unprepared to pay? Just be honest with yourself. This is one of many things that went wrong with that tour. The Kenyans spoke out after Charles and Camilla left. They told the truth about how they were degraded, humiliated, pulled rank on by Charles's staff, stiffed at the market. Charles and Camilla showed them who they were. They said one thing, but they showed them with their actions how they truly felt about them. They do not give a flying flip about those Kenyans, and it showed. They were openly hostile to Meghan, detecting her as a threat and launching a hate campaign against her that lasts to this very day. And that is because they have no diplomacy. That is because they have no soft power. They can't get anyone to like them, so let's get them to hate her. Which is also some of the dumbest reasoning I've ever heard in my life. That is not how popularity works. Making me dislike someone is not going to force me to like you, whom I also dislike. It's really ridiculous that you would think that if you bash her enough, they will then turn to you in favor. That is among the dumbest things I have ever heard in my life. And it just reiterates that you guys have no idea how things work in the real world. A real leader would have seen her as an asset. And even if they didn't like her, they would have seen that she is a very valuable diplomat, has a lot of soft power, has a lot of diplomacy, has all the qualities of likability that they do not, and utilized it to their benefit. They're not only lacking in soft power, they're not smart. For all their college of this, Eton of that, da 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 da, St. Andrews, they are not smart people. And this leads me to believe that they did not actually do the work in school either. They probably just skirted by without any detection because of who they are. They couldn't possibly have learned anything and still acted like this. Because anyone who ever read diplomacy or studied international relations would know how to be a little bit more diplomatic than this. I say all that to say this: there is no power in forced interaction. There is nothing good about these people other than having tons of money. And even that money is blood money. Those diamonds are blood diamonds. Your family murdered half the world for those. And you guys might be rich, but deep down inside, you know that people do not genuinely like you. You have no integrity and no friends. All you have are people that would abandon you in a heartbeat if they abolished the monarchy tomorrow and you had to give all your ill-gotten riches back to where you stole them from. And that's the Royal Tour Morocco recap. My apologies for ending on such a morbid note, but this really resonates because they did go to an African country, and you really can't get around the fact that the royals have been so brutal to Africa. And even today, it's still very brutal. It might not be gun to your head, concentration camp, Mau Mau style brutal, but it is still so very brutal, and they have so much work to do. They could have covered so much ground had they just trusted Harry and Meghan, had they not shown the world that at their core, they reject people of color for their own family. They can pretend to like you outside of the family because so much of the Commonwealth is persons of color, but not in their family. This was the last diplomatic tour that the royals ever embarked on, this tour of Morocco. The Caribbean tour flopped. The Wessex's tour of the Bahamas flopped. Not only did it flop, it got absolutely no media coverage whatsoever, and probably for the best because Edward made so many gaffes and was so embarrassing on that tour. It's better that it wasn't publicized. Their Kenyan tour recently flopped. Any Commonwealth country tour is bound to have the same results without Harry and Meghan attached to it. Not because of Meghan's ethnicity, but because Harry has instilled goodwill in the Commonwealth, and he has been the only person to do that from within that family. So, I don't know. I don't feel bad for them. They did it to themselves. You made your bed. You're lying in it, waking up with fleas. Good for you. Anyways. So that's the Royal Tour of Morocco recap. Let me know in the comments what outfit you liked the most. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also hit that notification bell so you can get notified when and if I ever in this life go live. Thanks again, guys. Please remember to be kind and have a wonderful week ahead. Bye.